today's show, we take a look at a senior who is virtuous when it comes to saxophone.
And we highlight one student who takes her passion for baking beyond the typical step-by-step recipe. These stories and more on this edition of Hilltop News.
What's rockin', Rock Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Hilltop News, live from Studio 1060. I'm Brandon McVay.
And I'm Ashley Sallaway, and I hope you guys are having a great week and are excited for the Thanksgiving break, which is only 8 school days away.
I know I'm excited to have a full week off school and to spend time with my family over Thanksgiving.
This November, many clubs and organizations have been participating in the Rock Hill Cares Drive. Connor Fuchsa is in studio to tell you more about who is participating and what it is. Connor?
Thank you, Ashley. A lot of clubs last year hosted their own drives, such as clothing drives and food drives, all at separately points during the year, to the point where it got confusing to follow what was happening when. This year, instead of all the drives being held separately, they are all taking place at the same time with Rock Hill Cares. Hope Squad is hosting a shoe drive, National Art Honor Society is collecting socks, Student Council, Key Club, and Band will be collecting canned food and clothing. Finally, Kids Prosper Kids is also collecting clothing. KPK donations will be going to an orphanage in Ghana.
So KPK, for the Rock Hill Cares Drive, we are doing a clothing drive, and basically we're collecting clothes for an orphanage in Ghana who recently went through a natural disaster, and a lot of their clothes were taken away. They lost a lot of resources, so we're just kind of doing our part to give back to them.
If you would like to donate to Kids Prosper Kids or any of these items, the donation boxes will be located in the library as well as the cafeteria areas. These drives will continue all the way up until Thanksgiving break. These are not the only drives of the year, as there will be more coming up around Christmas time. And starting the 1st of December, Rock Hill Cares will be collecting toy donations.
I know I'm planning on donating some clothes to Kids Prosper Kids for the orphanage in Ghana. Thank you, Connor. Fall sports are coming to an end, but one new sport is ready to rise: esports.
Braden Bedford reports on how Rock Hill is incorporating this new sport with students.
I got it. This seat on this stage has been a year in the making for the Blue Hawk Esports team. They had their first in-person tournament last Saturday.
For me, it was the first opportunity that I really had to show my skill and to present myself. But for the team, it was another great opportunity for us to show us as a team and to basically show off our skills and what we've been practicing.
These tournaments are helping gain esports more and more attention, so much that esports now has a higher viewership number than every major sport besides the NFL. This new attention has led to more opportunities opening up for these gamers, opportunities that weren't always around.
Growing up, a little bit about my background. I was originally a player trying to go pro, and I made it to the semi-pro level, played a bit with pro teams, but never quite made it into that, next echelon. And back then, my co-founder and I, we typically talk a lot about how there wasn't really any pathway to get there. We just played games and hoped we got spotted by a pro team. There wasn't community really. There just wasn't any structure. And so a few years ago when we started EPA, the goal was always just to provide that for this next generation of students, because we didn't have that, and we felt like it was a need and something that we missed out on when we were growing up.
These tournaments EPA puts on, as well as all tournaments, is a great way to set up these gamers' futures.
It blows my mind that kids can go to college playing video games, but they can. There's scholarship money out there for it. The fact, though, that now it's being recognized, and actually UIL is supposed to adopt esports as a UIL sport, which means it'll be in the same category as football, basketball, baseball, anything else. So the fact that these kids who compete differently, but they are still competing, get a chance to go to college and get exposure to all of these careers that stem from esports is extremely important, and it's valuable.
With the gaming industry continuing to grow, the door is wide open for what the future holds for these gamers. For Hilltop News, I'm Braden Bedford.
Team won 9th place, and the JV team won 13th in the Grapevine Colleyville Heritage Rocket League Invitational this weekend.
Leaving a legacy is typically something done through setting records or winning awards. Kyla Lewis highlights one senior who is choosing to leave her legacy in a recipe book.
With 1 part flour, a dash of sugar, and a stir of some friends and access to the culinary department, senior Gabrielle Musos is baking more than just cupcakes.
Students meet during SOAR time or after school, and so I feel like it's a great place for them to meet new people that have the same interests as they do, and I just feel like being able to bake and decorate kind of sparks their creativity and does let them have that escape, and they always seem to be having so much fun and just talking to each other and having a great time.
From the start, Gabrielle had the idea of building the club into something that continues on after she graduates.
I want this baking club to be a legacy, not just be here for when I'm here. So I'm planning on doing president elections and stuff like that for people who want to take my leadership role. And then I'm just going to give them a binder or something listing different activities they can do, different fundraisers that we can do from what we learned this year, and then expand on that for the future years.
Not only was her goal to create something that lasted beyond her years of high school, she also had the goal to give herself an outlet that allowed her to learn more than what was found in a recipe book.
I've always wanted to be able to speak to more people, not necessarily become a leader at first. I just wanted to be able to socially expand myself, which I didn't do in the 2 years before. So making this club last year, it was really helpful for me to speak in a public way, to speak to you guys, to speak to just everyone. So it helped me a lot.
Baking allowed Gabrielle to rise as a leader and get a taste of success that is sweet enough to share. For Hilltop News, I'm Kyla Lewis.
The Baking Club is open to all new members all year long, with meeting held once a month. If you are interested in joining, you can reach out to Chef Grissom in the culinary room.
On campus, we are proud to be home to many talented musicians. Annabelle Resendez Murillo takes a look into how one senior is playing not 1, not 2, but 4 different saxophones.
Playing an instrument is difficult. It takes years of practice to master. But senior Zach Hart was inspired to reach for more.
In beginner band, usually they start everyone off with an alto, but I've always had an interest in tenor because my grandfather was really into jazz, which made me really into jazz.
But he didn't stop there. Instead of mastering 1, Zach is expanding his instrument repertoire to learning to play 4 different saxophones.
Zach's always been a pretty okay player, but in the recent year he's pushed really hard and gotten exponentially better because of it.
Not only does Zach practice routinely on the alto saxophone, he also plays the tenor, baritone, and soprano saxophone, which all vary in size, musical range, keys, and in the way they are played in.
They vary in both key, which is just how the notes are identified on the saxophone. Like if you press one button, it might be A on alto or G on tenor. And they also vary in obviously pitch, like soprano is the highest, bari is the lowest, and just the 4 main saxes. But as you go higher or lower, they get more extreme differences.
Through his success on each of the saxophones, Zach has inspired many of his fellow student musicians to follow in his footsteps and take inspiration from his dedication of the art of saxophone playing.
One thing that Zach can do better than anyone I know is play with some soul and express his emotions through his music to the audience. And it's challenged me as a writer and a composer to write music that allows him to do that.
Band teaches you a lot of things, mostly musicianship and other things, but it also has taught me, most importantly, that the juice is worth the squeeze, or in other words, what kind of work you put in is what you will get out. So, all in all, if band has taught me one thing, is that if I work hard enough, the return will be worth the effort.
After high school, Zach plans on continuing playing music and on all of the different types of saxophones, further expanding his musical tool belt. For Real Hilltop News, I'm Annabelle Resendez Murillo.
Band is preparing for their All-State auditions and their winter show, which will be on December 13th.
As Thanksgiving break approaches, many sports seasons are ending while some are just beginning. Bronwyn Liber gives us a recap on the fall season sports and introduces how the winter sports are starting off. Bronwyn?
Thank you, Ashley. Football had their final game of the season this past Friday night against Lebanon Trail. They ended their season on a high note, bringing home a big win, 51-34. The seniors ended off their high school careers big, with Donovan Shannon running for 268 yards and having a touchdown, Brenner Cox throwing for 301 yards and having 5 touchdowns, as well as Luke Knight catching 11 passes for 202 and having 3 touchdowns of his own. The 43 seniors leaving the team will be missed. They've helped build a strong program for the future, bringing the Blue Hawks to a 5-5 record in their second year of existence. Football wasn't the only sport finishing up this last week. We also saw a cross-country team compete in the UIL State Championship. There were 5 individuals who qualified for the state meet. Lena Schmidt placed 24th overall, Reese Van Voorst placed 35th overall, For the girls, Gabriel De La O placed 28th overall, Logan Dellenbach placed 78th, and Matthew Kazanek placed 80th overall for the boys. Last Wednesday, Dive competed in the FISD Invitational and swept boys diving 1 and 3, and walked away with 5 new personal best scores, including an outstanding performance from sophomore Luke Sitz, who broke 3 records, including the Frisco ISD pool record, new meet record, and new school record. Swim also competed in the FISD Invitational, where our girls placed first overall, seeing a great performance from swimmers such as junior Bethany Sitz and freshman Ashley Pelosi. For our guys, they finished second, seeing solid finishes from swimmers such as sophomore Nicholas Mann, who competed in the 200-yard swim. Girls basketball had their first game this past Friday, getting a dominant win over Naaman Forest 61-18 with a great offensive game from junior Rebecca Jewett, who had 17 points. Unfortunately, though, they suffered a tough loss Monday night 46-43 against Frisco Centennial, battling down to the last minute, but still saw a great defensive game from players such as sophomore Alicia Brooks, who had 7 deflections. They hope to rebound this Thursday through Saturday as they play in their first tournament of the season. Guys basketball is also getting started up as they play this Saturday away versus Woodrow Wilson and again on Tuesday also away at Frisco Lone Star. Wrestling also got started off this past Saturday with their second annual Black vs. Blue duel in which the black team took home the victory. Monday night they took on Plano Senior. We saw varsity girls get a dominant win 42-12 and a tough loss for the boys, losing 40-36 while forfeiting 3 of their weight classes. From skates on ice to sticks in hand, the Prosper hockey team has been hard at work in the beginning of their season. Grant Bizion reports.
With ice in their veins and a warm team spirit, the Prosper hockey team has been focusing on the name on the front rather than the name on the back of their jerseys.
I think it's just more of the true camaraderie. I think hockey has a pretty good culture and a kind of a fraternity, if you would, globally. If you've played, guys welcome if you're a good person playing, and then if you're not, you kind of get axed from that.
The team says they're struggling with getting more people to join. Senior Brendan Inman runs their Instagram page and creates graphics to gain more publicity.
So I make Instagram graphics for, it's Prosper Ice Hockey on Instagram, and that's how we're getting people out to the games. We haven't had very much luck with it, but hopefully we can keep growing and keep getting people out there.
The hockey team practices each week and hopes to achieve state given their current and previous records. Regardless of their performance, however, Coach Yev Sechev says that his main goal for his players is to make sure that his players are enjoying playing hockey.
Well, there's a lot of things, right? We have 68 kids, so everybody's in different elements of their development. So I think cliche of it all is have a good time, have fun, right? Learn the game, a lot of them early on in the year, but really develop and progress. So the goal is each year, whatever team you're on, you hope you go higher and make the top team as you become a senior. So.
As a program representing 2 schools, hockey hopes to work towards the bigger picture of being united as one team. For Hilltop News, I'm Grant Bizion.
Prosper's next game is at the Children's Health Stars Center, Plain Birdville. Well, that's all we have for today's show. For Hilltop News, I'm Bronwyn Liber.
I'm Brandon McVay.
And I'm Ashley Sallaway. Keep rocking, Blue Hawks.